Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Confidently You podcast. So, thank you all again for the amazing feedback I keep getting. I'm so grateful that you're loving the podcast. Please keep your feedback coming. Please like, rate, subscribe, and share the podcast with as many people as you know. The more you share it, the more I can get my message out there. This is a chance for me to give free help. That's all I want. Free help for everyone. So, well, especially women. Especially the women. So share this with everyone you know and get them listening to the podcast. Thought I'd do things a bit different today. Thought I'd do a little Q&A. So for those of you that are aware, I've just been doing a free challenge, a 4-week free challenge. Absolutely free, getting people fantastic results. And in that free challenge, I get some really good questions, which I think will help a lot of you. So we're just going to dive right in. There's going to be a bit of me looking at my phone, obviously, because I've got the questions written down. And we're going to dive right into it. So question number 1, how do I stop the binging on food as soon as I get home? I get home from work/school some of these are written by actual people. So I have to read them how they're written sometimes. So do bear with me. I get home from work at 3:30 and all I want to do is raid the kitchen cupboards, but one snack is never enough. Any suggestions of what I can eat that's going to fill me up until I have dinner later and stop any more snacking? I do so well all day until this point. Right. So when it comes to a snack attack, whether that's after school or after dinner, evening snack attack, or if you're a mid-morning muncher, what's really important is to look at your day as a whole. So when you're getting hungry, that's like pushing the red button. Your body's going, me, red button now. I'm hungry now. But it's actually what you're eating before that makes the biggest impact. So if you're a mid-morning snacker, it's usually the case that you've not had adequate breakfast, or if you've not eaten breakfast at all. Mid-afternoon, have you eaten enough lunch? After dinner, have you had an adequate dinner and allowed yourself a snack? So look at everything as a bigger picture. Hunger comes down to a couple of things. It's either genuine hunger and you're not giving your body the fuel it needs to survive. When you're in a calorie deficit, you are going to probably get a bit of hunger because obviously being in a calorie deficit, losing body fat, you are burning more calories than you're putting in. But when you work with me, I always give you a manageable deficit. So that's why your deficit's not too high, where you'd be absolutely ravenous and end up binging. And it's also not too low, so you're not losing anything. It's this fine line in between. That's why it is good to speak to a coach and expert. Please feel free to always reach out to me. I'll give you your calories for nothing. It costs me nothing to do it for you. And that's what I give in my free challenge. And what that'll do is give you when I give you that calorie allowance, it's that allowance for a reason. You will burn more body fat faster if you're in a 1,000 calorie a day deficit, but you will also be absolutely ravenous, hating life, have no energy. So it's about creating a deficit that works for you. I've worked with hundreds of women, so I know usually I get it right majority of the time. Obviously, I'm not a robot, so I can't get it right. Well, even a robot won't get it right perfectly all the time because everyone's so different. But I work it out about what's right for you. So then if it's managing hunger, right? So are you eating all your calories? Number 1, that you're allowed. Number 2, are you eating filling foods, high volume foods? Now, what is a high volume food? Fruits, vegetables, low calorie foods that fill up a lot of volume. It's winter. If you listen to this now, soups and stews pack full, loads of liquid, volume. They fill up your tummy so that you feel fuller. Loads of tips and tricks that you can use to make sure that you are fueled and managing your hunger. So are you eating a big enough breakfast, lunch and evening meal? Are you saving all your calories for the evening so you can use them on snacks? I used to do that. It is a really poor habit to have and it doesn't work well in the long run. So if you are eating good filling meals, then you need to look at, right, am I genuinely hungry, or is this habit, is this boredom? Am I used to getting in from work or school and having a snack? Is that the case? Is it just a habit? Now, there's a couple of things you can do if it is a habit. Number 1 is switch the habit up. So if normally you'd reach for a snack, if you've got the ability, go out, go for a walk, do something different to distract yourself, because more times than not, it'll go off. Another thing is, if it's a habit and you're used to doing it, why are you not planning in a better snack choice for that time? There's nothing wrong with having a 4th meal. This 3 meal a day, you can have as many meals as you want. It's up to you how many meals you want. If you're having lunch at 12 noon and you don't have your dinner till 6 or 7, or 8 or 9 if you're absolutely mental. That's a long time to be without food when you're active and busy during the day. So why are you not planning in something to eat at 4 o'clock? Fruit and yogurt, bit of soup, Baby Bells, some toast, and a bagel. A bagel, boiled eggs, cottage cheese, snacky snooze. Snacky snooze? That thing? Something nice and filling, not just a penguin or a little pack of mini cookies that the kids have left over. It's not even going to fill a hole for you. Think of, like, with every single meal you want a protein source, some carbohydrates, and something of nutritional value. And the bigger it is for the less amount of calories, it'll fill you up more. Popcorn's great for that as well if you like a little snack. So it's a lot more complex than just saying, suck it up or do this. You have to look at everything in a whole as to why you're wanting a snack in the first place. Is it genuine hunger or is it just habit? And if it is either or both of the above, then planning something then that's going to work for you. It's all about pre-planning. I always say to all my girls, the people that pre-plan have the best success, because getting to 3:30, getting home and suddenly reaching to the snack cupboard is reactive. It's not planned. But if you know that you've got a protein yogurt, some raspberries and, I don't know, a Kit Kat. Even if you want a Kit Kat, have one then. Planned in, that's what, 2, 3, 4, 400 calories. Grand. Nice little snack. Then you'll have your dinner, and then you probably don't want a sweet treat later that evening because you already had one in the afternoon. Winner, winner, dinner. If you have any follow-up questions after these questions and answers, please feel free to either comment or message me, and I'll answer any of them. Okay, that's not the questions. Right, next question. Really common this time of year. I'm really unwell and have a sick child too. I did not pre-plan for this. You can't pre-plan for sickness. Bless her. I did not pre-plan for this. No one does. But I have pre-made homemade meals in the freezer. Fantastic. So you have, pre-planned. You've put a plan in place, and that's going to help you in the future. Unfortunately, they aren't weighed or measured, so I very much had to guess where calories are concerned. But at least she's had something pre-planned and prepped, and you're getting a good quality meal. My question is, how do I stop the almighty guilt of not doing my steps/run because I physically can't? I'm in a pit of guilt tonight. I know I can't help it as my body's telling me I need to rest, but my brain isn't getting that. I'm worried about how much this may hinder my progress. I very rarely get ill, so isn't it just typical that it hits 4 weeks of this challenge? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. First and foremost, just acknowledge that for most of us, it's been drilled into us, this grind to keep going and push through when you're not very well. I don't know, it's maddening. It took me years to unlearn this. It took me years to unlearn that I had to keep pushing through. And I used to make myself so ill and so much worse by just carrying on and pushing through. And then you're forced to rest. If you don't rest, your body will force you to rest, okay? Number one, if you are not well. I felt a bit unwell last week. I'd had a really busy weekend, hadn't had as much sleep as normal, and I've started to get swollen throat and just starting feeling a bit off. And I just took a step back. I got 11 hours sleep one night, 9 hours sleep the next night. I know I've not got kids, so I'm privileged to not have that opportunity to rest a bit more. But the amount of you that'll be like, oh, I can't call in sick to work. I can't, take time off or do X, Y, Z. And then a week later, you are so ill that you are bedridden. Wouldn't it have been better to just take one day off last week instead of a week off next week and feel absolutely terrible? Illness is not weakness. Illness is just part of being a human. I used to get so frustrated that I used to have this mad lifestyle. Like, I did not look after myself for years. And then I really started looking after myself. And then I still got ill. And I was like, why do I get ill? That's not fair. But we just do, right? But how you react to it and how you recover from it can, not always, because we can't help it sometimes, but it can have a big impact on how long we are ill for. So if you rest, when you're ill, number one is rest. Even if you've got that guilt, that's just your own head. Your body, when you are unwell, you've got these antibodies in your body, and you've got the virus. So the virus is in you, whatever that is, cold, flu, sickness, whatever it is, right? In your body. And your body reaction is fight that, get you better. In order to do that, your body needs energy, and it's using all its energy that you have to fight whatever's attacking you. Say attacking you. It's war. Okay? That's just the simplest way to explain it. If you then go out and run a 10K because you feel guilty, all that energy your body had to fight the virus, you are using up by going and running. So your body doesn't have the energy to fight the virus, so the virus is going to win more. And your body's like, please stop. Just stop and let me have this energy. Let me use this energy. Your biggest hindrance and also your biggest success is your mindset. When you're unwell, stop. Sit down. Get a cuppa. But it doesn't mean being a slob and start eating, ice cream morning, noon and night and ordering McDonald's. The great thing about what this girl did was she was like, I've got pre-prepared freezer meals. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter necessarily about your calories. Tracking's really hard when you're unwell. But what I want you to start focusing on is when you are ill, you are focusing solely on getting better. That is your sole purpose. When I've got clients messaging me going, oh, I'm not feeling well, should I work out? I'm like, your workout is getting better. That is your workout. I want you to focus on nutrient-dense food, rest, sleep, more sleep. And then do you know what you do some more? Sleep. Because sleep is your superpower. Sleep is where you recover and your body gets recovered. Night nurse. I shouldn't be endorsing things like this. All right? Obviously, don't take anything if you're allergic to it. And I think it can become addictive. But it's got some things in it that really help you sleep. It's got an antihistamine in it as well that makes you sleep. Disclaimer, not a doctor. And if you're allergic to anything, please see a doctor first before listening to my advice about night nurse. But over-the-counter medications like that can really help because they help you sleep, because the best thing you can do is sleep. Eat nutrient-dense food. Get some soups. Tubs of soups. You cheat. I don't care. Eat nutrient-dense food to fuel you up. And herbal teas. Hydrate. The thing I see most as well, oh, I've not really drunk much. Your body needs so much more hydration when you're unwell. And then when you are feeling slightly better, you then go back to tracking and you go out for walks. Number one is walks. If you can't go for a 30-minute walk, you're not well enough to do a workout. Then if you've been really ill, when you come back to workout, you start slow. The problem isn't missing a workout, it's you and it's your mind. If you push through, you are going to be so much worse than if you just go and work out. So you need to get over this guilt and shame. And we need to start accepting that rest is a part of recovery in normal life, never mind just when you're ill. We need to be resting more. I rest so much more now, and I am so much fitter and healthier and happier because I actually learned how to rest. So that's my tough love from Helen. I do also take like a vitamin effervescent when I'm unwell. I don't recommend them any other time of year because you just end up to wee it out, like a Barocca. But when you're unwell, just that extra vitamin C to boost it. Or those juices are great that you can get from the supermarket. They're a mix of all different fruits and vegetables and just gets loads. You just want loads of vitamins. Vitamins, pump them in your body. Vitamins, minerals, rest and hydration. Okay, that is sickness and guilt around sickness. Next question. This is a really good one. And there's so many layers to this, right? Ready? My calories are 1,900. I have just tracked my calories and my macros, and after having 3 meals today, I still have 656 calories. Do I use up my calories every day, or is it better to be under? Should I try and aim for the full calories every day and aim to be closer to my protein target as well? I have been meaning to ask, but I am under most days. Some days just by 1 to 200, others by 5 to 600. Any advice greatly appreciated. My gosh, this is a fantastic question, because everyone's mindset reading this or listening to it might be like, oh, well, if you're full and you're, 650 calories under your target, that's great because you're going to be losing body fat. And the faster you lose body fat, the faster you'll get to where you want to be. And everything's just better that way, isn't it? No. So I went back to this person, and this is something I definitely help a lot of women with, especially on my one-to-one program, because it's a lot more complicated than just a calorie deficit. And you'd think as a fat loss coach, I'd be celebrating this because I'm like, yay, well done. You're massively under your deficit, which means you'll lose weight faster. And then I'll be able to share your transformation. Brilliant. No, because I also help people with behaviour change. And I picked up with this lady and I said to her, now, you don't have to eat all your calories every day, number one. That's the first answer to that. You don't have to eat all your calories. Your calories are a target and they're there for a reason. Like I said before, so you manage your hunger, you have enough energy to live your life, not be miserable, eat plenty of food so that you can be in a deficit, but not be in this massive deficit where you feel like you're restricting. So that's fine. As long as you're feeling fueled. But the problem is with this lady, say 600 calories a day deficit, her target's 1,900. Her target will be based on her burning around 2,300 calories a day on average. If she's in a 600 calorie a day deficit, she's in 1,000 calorie a day deficit. 1,000 calories. Your body's burning 1,000 calories more than you're eating. That is a huge deficit. And that might sound, ooh, yeah, but she'll lose weight fast. No. What happens then? You are definitely restricting. You're definitely in an area where your calories are so low that you are under eating. And what tends to happen then is you binge. And how do I know this? Because I used to do it too. I used to survive on like 1,000 calories a day during the week. I'm quite open about this. I've done plenty of social media posts about it. I've talked about this in a podcast before. And then on a weekend, I would eat everything in sight. So I went back to this lady and mentioned this. I said, this is what tends to happen. And she said, yeah, that's what I do. I didn't realise that's why. And she openly said and admitted that that's her problem. And she'll binge. There's only so long you can stay in a low calorie restriction. And just, if you look at your life and where you're at, and if you are overweight and wanting to lose a lot of body fat, there's a reason why you've got there. 95, maybe 96, 97% of people is because of overeating. That 3% anomaly is hormonal, thyroid, your different hormones going on, women that have issues with PCOS and estrogen, perimenopause, different things like that, right? Little things. And it's only very specific. Little things, they are big things actually. Small group that affects 97% of women that I've worked with is a calorie deficit, and you will lose body fat. And the reason you put on so much body fat is from over-consuming in calories. 97%. Look at yourself seriously, and most people know. It's very rare that I come across someone that has an underlying medical issue. It's rare. The majority of the time, it's not your metabolism broken. It's not that you've got a thyroid problem. It's that you've over-consumed calories consistently for usually years. It takes time. It creeps up. And it's these little habits that creep up over the time. So you think the best way to lose fat is to undereat. But then it gets to the weekend and you've undereaten so much during the week and restricted yourself so much that you go, oh, stuff it, I'll just have a day off. But that one day off, I can promise you, because I've done it before, you can consume 5,000, 6,000 calories. Easy. If you think it's not possible, go try. Just go for a meal at somewhere like TGI Fridays and order whatever you want off the menu and get a dessert. And you've probably done 3,000 calories instantly then. That's just your lunch. Then go and have a pizza for dinner. Go have a fry up for breakfast. Yeah, you might feel full, or a Chinese, or a greasy kebab with like garlic, double garlic, mayo and everything on. A few pints. I used to be able to sink 10 pints. That's 200 to 300 calories a pint. Work that out. 3,000 calories. It can creep up very, very quickly if you're not aware of it. So, luckily for this lady, she's got me. But I've said you need to start eating more during the day because that'll mean prevent the binging. Sometimes it's about realising these habits that you've got that have crept up, and sometimes you do need more help. You need someone there to help you because it's about behaviour change. And this is what I specialise in. You look at me and think Helen's just a fat loss coach. I'm not. I help people change their behaviour, their mindset. That's why my program is called Confidently You, because I help you become more confident in your own skin and your own actions. So if any of you are struggling with undereating and binging, or if you're massively under your calories and you don't understand why you're losing weight, re-listen to that bit. Okay, next one. So I have a question. If we shouldn't weigh ourselves, how are we going to know when it's time to reduce our calorie target? I know I'm getting ahead of myself when it's not even been 2 weeks. I love it though. This lady's obviously forward thinking, forward planning, always good. So I always say, and I encourage people not to weigh themselves. Weight is not a good metric of success if it is your only measure of success. I don't weigh myself. I don't actually care what I weigh. I don't even understand what it means anymore. Measurements, clothes sizes, how you feel in your own skin, pictures, fantastic. And I get all the girls to do measurements as well. The problem with just weight is weight can be affected by time of the month, hormones, water. Have you just eaten? Have you been to the toilet? There's so many food in your stomach. There's so many factors that play into weight. Weight is like everything in your body. And it's muscle as well. So if you're gaining muscle and dropping fat, you're not going to be losing weight, if they coincide with each other. It's not as simple as that, but I'm just making it simple for the podcast. So your weight is just your gravitational pull towards the earth. It doesn't mean anything, girls. We've been drilled into us that this number on the scales affects like who you are as a person. It does not. It's absolute bollocks. If you want to be healthier, if you want to be a bit slimmer to feel confident in your own skin, that's okay. There was like the body positivity movement, and it went a bit on the air of the side of like, it's okay to be like morbidly obese. Now, if you're happy and confident and healthy and morbidly obese, go you. It's your life. You do what you want to do. But if you can't walk up the stairs without being out of breath, can't run after the kids or the grandkids, if you struggle to stand up, if you struggle to tie your shoelaces, if you just have lack of energy, normally things like being significantly overweight will just make you feel like rubbish. You'll just feel rubbish. Because when you are significantly overweight, usually you're not eating nutrient-dense food you're over-consuming fatty foods, usually. And I say this with a big, there's a usually there. I know some people that are overweight and fitter like than me. They can lift really heavy weights. They can run. Fantastic. And they have a balanced, healthy diet. And as long as they're happy in themselves, it's no one else's opinion what they are like. It's all about how you look and feel. Also, on the other side, at the minute, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent, but coming on to why is everyone getting so obsessed with being skinny again? The things like weight loss injections, where I'm seeing people who don't necessarily need to lose a lot of body fat. They're not morbidly obese. They just want to be a bit skinnier, using these injections, but not eating better and not doing any fitness. And you just think, you're going to be as unwell in 10 years' time as that morbidly obese person, because they don't realise the detrimental effects of malnutrition that's going to have on their bodies as well. So they might be skinny, but they're not necessarily healthy. There's this real big balance, girls, and it's so confusing. You have to be in the middle. You have to be in the middle of, are you comfortable in your own skin? Are you eating nutrient-dense food majority of the time? Are you moving? Can you breathe? Can you, pick your kids up? Can you run after your kids? Think about your quality of life. That's what's important. I've gone on a massive tangent. So I don't tell people to weigh themselves. I don't think it's a good measure of success. And we have such a negative impact when we see a number on a scales that we don't like to see. It can ruin your day. And it can fluctuate so much. So if you are going to weigh yourself every day at the same time. So ideally in the morning, naked, you've been to the toilet, you've got no food in your belly, and then you take a weekly average. If you need to do it, do that. If you're like me, I don't even own a set of scales. Best way to measure fat loss is your measurements. I get all the girls to do the measurements in centimetres, weekly, and take pictures. If you are losing body fat, if you're on a calorie deficit, you'll lose body fat, okay? End of. Clothes sizes are a great thing, even though they vary from shop to shop. But if you pick M&S jeans as your like metric, stick to the same one. Don't be like, I want to be a size 10 in everything, because that's impossible, because size 10 at Primark compared to Primark. Size 10 pair of jeans at Primark at one end of the store versus the other end of the store is completely different. So don't use that. Don't let things like that affect you. Stay in your own lane and focus on what makes you happy. So when it comes down to reducing your calories, if your progress stalls, if you've been doing it for a long time and your progress stalls after a couple of weeks, and I mean a couple of weeks, because sometimes I'll get clients and you could be losing body fat still, but it's not coming down in your measurements because you'll be losing body fat off your calves, or, you've got your whole body to lose it from. So you do a couple of weeks, and this is why working with a coach really helps, because I will go, stick with it. Right, we need to reduce your calories. There's a few things you can do. You can move more, you can get more steps in. I don't mean working out and doing loads of HIIT training. You don't need to do that to lose body fat or reduce your calories. But when you reduce your calories as well, 50 calories a day to start with. then see if it ticks it over. But if you want help with this, because this is why people need coaches, you've got your own busy lives. You get to a point, you start hitting a plateau and you go, oh, I give up. Or you reduce your calories by 500 a day and you're absolutely ravenous. Whereas sometimes it's about pushing through. Are you tracking accurately? There's so much more that goes into it. Hope that helped. Hope you enjoyed my tangent where I went a bit off one there. Right. Okay. So the next question is, not sure if this group is the right place. It is the right place to post this, but hoping to get your views on it, Helen. I'll give you my views. Is there a benefit for women to take creatine if they are looking to gain muscle, or is it just a commercial gimmick? Creatine is one of the supplements that isn't a gimmick. I'll say that again. It isn't a gimmick. Creatine monohydrate in powder form, not the gummies. So powder form creatine monohydrate has been shown in loads of studies to have so many benefits when it comes to muscle gain and cognitive benefits. And there are now some studies being done that it does help women go through perimenopause, brain fog, mental clarity. So I do recommend you look into getting a supplement. Now, don't think about getting an expensive one and don't get the gummies because they're not good quality. Powder form on Amazon is about a tenner a tub. You can just have a scoop. I have one before I work out. It does make me feel a bit nauseous if I've eaten water, like a big glass of it. So I shot a scoop and then down the water. I know, bit out there. It doesn't give you energy as in like a coffee does, like caffeine. It doesn't give you that burst of energy like having a Red Bull. What it does is as you are training, your muscles have more energy. So as you're lifting, you've just got more oomph. That's the only way I can describe it, which then in turn helps your muscle grow more because you can lift more weight. So it's a causation and an effect. Okay, so you can't just take it and you get more muscle. It's not like steroids. That don't work that way either, actually. That's a bad example. But it's not just like, oh, I take this and I get more muscle. No, you actually have to go do your training and then you can just give more in your training. And then the cognitive benefits as well, the brain fog. Obviously, I haven't done any tests on that personally, but there's loads of studies out there. Look up studies. There are some little, if you have got any underlying medical conditions, sometimes best to speak to your doctor. I see no negative side effects apart from it does make me feel a bit nauseous. Don't know why it does that. It just does. I don't know many people that it does though. The only other side effect it has is it retains water in the muscles. So when you are retaining the water, you then may weigh more. Remember, weight is not body fat, but you might be a bit more like what we call like fluffy, like a bit more puffy. Now, I take creatine and I don't have any extra weight or puffiness, but I use it in my muscles. It just might be that transition period of when you start first taking it, you might notice your weight increases. This is why you shouldn't weigh yourself, because as long as you're doing your measurements going down, you'll get more muscle, which means you'll be more toned and look leaner. So it's a win-win situation. So who cares if you weigh more? Because you look better. So yes, I really recommend creatine. Even if you're not doing that much weight training, I would try it and see if it does have a benefit for you. It is something that naturally occurs in food as well, but we don't usually get enough from food. Most people don't get enough from food. Okay, last one. I haven't got a specific question for this, but it's one that a lot of the girls have been asking. When we did our first week's check-in, I had a lot of the girls saying, I've lost here, but I've not lost here on my measurements. So, for example, with me, I will always lose fat first on my bust. My chest just goes, whoa. Not that I've got any chest, but it just goes straight off there. Straight off there. My stomach goes quite fast and my arms are my slowest, okay? So some of the girls were like, I've lost off my belly, but I've not lost off my hips or vice versa. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. You cannot spot reduced fat. Ignore every single fake advertisement you've ever seen on social media where they're saying, here's how to target this area, because it's absolute bollocks. You cannot spot reduced fat. You eat less calories and your body will lose fat from wherever it wants to first. The swimming pool analogy is something I learned when I was training to become a PT, and it's my favourite analogy that I use. It's my most commonly used analogy. So thanks, Cheryl, for this. Sheza, my fantastic coach, teacher. I wonder if she listens to this. She still follows me on social media. She's great. Okay, so if you're not watching this, either turn on to have a look now or come back to it after and have a look, because it's good visual. Imagine your body is a swimming pool, okay? And in the swimming pool, the water represents your body fat. You're in a calorie deficit, So that means you're coming over to the swimming pool and you're getting bucket by bucket, scooping out water one at a time. As you scoop out the water in the swimming pool, you've got your shallow end and you've got your deep end. Scooping out the water, it starts going down. It's really hard not to move my other thumb. And what's happening? Losing body fat, and you will notice it in your shallow end first. You'll always notice it in your shallow end, and it just takes longer to get to your deep end. For a lot of women, especially perimenopausal, where estrogen affects your fat distribution, it doesn't make you have more fat, it just affects your distribution. So they're saying, hate this, middle-aged spread, that's due to estrogen. It's just that your fat is held more around your tummy. So your tummy tends to become your deep end as we age. And it just means it just takes longer for us to burn down that fat. You've just got to keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. It's so frustrating. But once you know that, I think the biggest problem I see with women is that they give up because they're like, well, I can't. I've changed. I'm older. I can't lose fat there. Oh, it's not working. When you just have to keep going because it does work. As long as you're in a deficit, you're fueling your body right, and you're not in that 3% of people that have those hormones that affect the metabolism, it'll work. Trust me, I've worked with hundreds of women, all ages, from 18 to, what's my oldest, 70. I had a 70-year-old. She was amazing. It works. Okay, so that's the end of today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed that little Q&A and answer some of the questions that the girls had. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll do another one in the new year, another Q&A. So if you have any questions in the meantime, send them through and I'll save them up. But don't forget to like, download, share, just press all the buttons. Just go on Spotify and press all the buttons, please. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, everything. It really helps me get my message out, just to help as many women as possible. Have a fab week, and I'll see you soon.